You step into the kitchen and the air hits you first warm, sharp, savory. Your mouth starts working before your brain catches up. And the funny part is, that smell isn't coming from anything fancy, it's coming from garlic. A humble ingredient that can make a dish feel unfinished without it, and can also ruin a dish when it's used the wrong way. So your mind asks the question most people never stop to ask: what is garlic, really? Is it a vegetable, a spice, or a herb? And why has something meant for seasoning been treated, for thousands of years, like medicine, strength, and even a kind of protection? Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. What garlic actually is? Garlic is a plant species called Allium sativum, part of the same family as onions, leeks, and shallots. If those relatives have taught the world anything, it's that a strong meal often starts with something that smells like a warning and ends up tasting like comfort. Botanically, garlic is a bulb, an underground storage organ. That matters because bulbs aren't designed to be delicate. They're designed to survive. They pack energy into layers, seal it behind skins, and wait out bad seasons. When you buy garlic, you're holding a head, a bundle of cloves locked together. Each clove is wrapped in thin, papery skin, and the whole head is wrapped again in a tougher outer layer. It's nature's packaging, portioned, protected, and ready to be opened only when something threatens it or when a cook decides it's time. Garlic also has a quiet efficiency. In cooler climates, it's often planted in fall. Farmers bury individual cloves, and months later each clove grows into a full new head. One small segment becomes a whole bulb. The plant's logic is simple: store, divide, multiply. And that store and protect design is exactly why garlic behaves so strangely in your hands. Garlic's long human life. Garlic has been cultivated for thousands of years, which means it isn't just a flavor preference. It's a companion. It followed people through work, war, sickness, and celebration. In ancient Egypt, garlic was associated with endurance, fed to laborers doing heavy work. It has even been found in tomb contexts, which suggests it carried value beyond taste. In ancient Greece, athletes ate garlic before competitions, treating it like fuel. The Romans gave it to soldiers for stamina and courage. Traditional practices in China and India used garlic for infections, digestion, and fatigue, everyday human problems with no easy answers. Then, folklore took over. Garlic also traveled well. Dried, braided, or stored as whole heads, it could survive seasons and journeys. That made it a practical companion for traders and travelers, a cheap way to make bland staples taste richer, and a familiar smell that turned strange food into something like home. In parts of Europe, garlic became a symbol of protection, imagined as something that could keep evil away. Whether you believe the stories isn't the point. The point is that people reached for garlic when they wanted to feel defended. Long before anyone could name enzymes or compounds, they noticed a pattern: garlic did something. The reason sits in one invisible reaction. The chemistry of that smell. Here's the twist. A whole clove of garlic is relatively quiet. The smell is there, but muted. Garlic isn't loud until it's injured. Inside the clove are chemical components kept in separate compartments. When you crush or chop garlic, you rupture those compartments and force a meeting. A compound called allicin mixes with an enzyme called alliinase. That reaction produces allicin, the compound responsible for garlic's sharp aroma and much of its studied biological activity. Allicin is powerful but unstable. It doesn't sit around forever. Garlic makes it in a burst, almost like a flare. That's why freshly crushed garlic smells different from garlic that's been sitting for a while. It's also why the smell clings to your hands. You created it and it wants to travel. Preparation changes the outcome. If you crush garlic and immediately throw it into a hot pan, heat can reduce how much of that short-lived peak you get. But if you crush it and let it rest for about 10 minutes, you give the reaction time to complete before cooking begins. Once you see garlic as a reaction, not just an ingredient, its taste stops being mysterious. Two personalities in one garlic clove. Raw garlic tastes the way it smells, sharp, hot, almost spicy. It hits fast, and it can feel aggressive in the wrong dose. That intensity is part of the same story. Fresh chemistry, freshly activated. But cook garlic slowly, and you meet its second personality. Roasting or gentle sautéing softens the harsh edge. The flavor becomes round, mellow, and slightly sweet. The texture turns creamy. Instead of shouting, it spreads through a dish like warmth. That transformation is why garlic is both a finishing touch and a foundation. It can be bright in a dressing, or deep in a sauce, or quietly present under an entire stew. There's also a lesson every cook learns. Garlic can go from golden to bitter in seconds. Burn it, and the sweetness collapses into an acrid note that hangs over everything. That's why people add garlic later, cook it gently in oil, or roast whole cloves, ways of keeping the aroma without tipping into bitterness. Garlic appears across cuisines for the same reason. It doesn't just add flavor, it makes other flavors feel clearer, like turning up the contrast on a photo. So garlic earns its place on the plate, but its reputation didn't stop at taste. People trusted it with their bodies. The quiet power of garlic. Garlic has been studied more than most things in a spice drawer, but the most honest way to describe what researchers see isn't miracle, it's support. The effects when they show up tend to be modest, and they matter most when garlic is part of a bigger pattern: how you eat overall, how you sleep, how you move, and when you get real medical care. Still, there's a reason garlic keeps returning in both folklore and science. Because the same chemistry you smell in the pan is also the chemistry people have been testing in labs for decades. Start with the heart, because that's where garlic's modern reputation shows up most often. Studies have explored garlic's relationship with blood pressure, especially in people who already have hypertension. Some research suggests garlic may help lower blood pressure in that group. Other studies look at whether certain forms of garlic can reduce LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol. Results vary depending on preparation and dose, but the theme is consistent enough that garlic keeps reappearing in conversations about heart-friendly eating. Not as a replacement for medication or lifestyle change, more like a small lever that can move in the right direction if the rest of the system is already pointed that way. Now shift to the moment everyone recognizes. You're getting sick, your throat feels rough, and someone suggests garlic soup. That advice didn't survive for thousands of years by accident. Compounds formed when garlic is crushed have been studied for activity against certain microbes, and some studies suggest regular garlic intake may reduce the severity or duration of common colds. That doesn't mean garlic stops illness. It means it may help your body respond a little more effectively enough that people notice the difference long before they knew what to call the compounds. Then there's the quieter benefit, the one you don't feel in a single afternoon. Garlic contains antioxidant compounds that may help reduce oxidative stress, the kind of cellular wear linked to unstable molecules called free radicals. And because chronic inflammation is connected to many modern conditions, diets rich in plant compounds are often associated with better long-term outcomes. Garlic isn't the headline of that story, but it fits the theme: small, repeated exposures to protective compounds, stacked over time. Finally, look back at why garlic was trusted in the first place. Before antibiotics existed, people used what they had. Crushed garlic was sometimes used as a disinfectant or applied to wounds. That's history, not a modern recommendation. Today, infections and injuries deserve medical treatment. But garlic's documented antibacterial and antifungal properties help explain why it earned its reputation in eras when trust was built by observation and survival, not clinical trials. So, the benefits aren't separate from the smell. They're connected to the same switch activated when garlic is broken, releasing a short-lived burst of chemistry that humans have been noticing, testing, and building traditions around for a very long time. And once you understand that, garlic stops being healthy in the abstract and starts being practical in the real world. The 5-second rule: crush, wait, then cook. If you want the simplest way to use garlic well, remember 3 words: crush, wait, then cook. Crush means you activate garlic's chemistry. You're not just changing the shape, you're starting the reaction. Wait means you give it time. About 10 minutes is enough to form more of the compounds created in that first burst. Then cook means you choose the version of garlic you want. Fast heat keeps the punch. Slow heat builds sweetness. Either way, you're steering instead of guessing. That's it. 3 words, 5 seconds. A better relationship with a very small ingredient. The small switch that changed everything. Garlic looks like nothing, a pale bulb in a paper jacket, but inside it is a design that explains why it has survived every era and every cuisine. It stores what it needs in layers. It keeps its chemistry separated like a locked room, and it only becomes loud when something breaks it. That's a strange kind of genius for a plant. It's also a strangely human story. We take garlic to the edge, crush it, slice it, heat it, because we want what happens in that brief moment when it turns on. We want the smell that makes a room feel alive. We want the flavor that makes simple food feel complete. And maybe, without admitting it, we also like the old idea that some things in the kitchen can protect us not as magic, but as care. So next time garlic hits a hot pan and your appetite wakes up, remember what you're smelling: a tiny defensive reaction repurposed into comfort. A small switch, flipped by your hands, that turns plain ingredients into something worth gathering around. And now I'm curious, are you a raw garlic person or a roasted garlic person? What's the one dish in your life that doesn't feel quite right without it? If you enjoyed this one, hit like and subscribe, because on Secrets of Simple Things, we take ordinary ingredients and uncover the hidden logic inside them.